So Andersen Windows, who are we? Well, Andersen Windows is North America's largest window and patio door manufacturer. Right? We've been around for over 100 years driving innovation in the marketplace, where we have a number of patents and other things around in the world. If we think about windows and patio doors, they have a working life cycle of about 20 to 50 years. So we are getting phone calls today about windows that we manufactured in 1970. We're getting phone calls today about windows that we manufactured 3 years ago. So when you think about all of the stuff that we have out in the world today, being able to identify it, to work with it, and to help our customers make changes to it is really important. So why eGain, right? Well, eGain gives us multiple paths to help meet our customer needs from a post-sales consumer support side of the world, right? And as we talked about, I have 20 to 50 years of working life product out there. And so people come in, and one of the ways that we help them figure out what's going on is we walk them through picture-based navigation. But not everything needs picture-based navigation, right? It's about serving up the right thing at the right time. So we also have in there topic-based navigation, and we allow people to come in and search. Also for us, eGain represents a cloud-based deployment, right? Which was very helpful for us because it helps minimize our internal IT time. Along with that though, we're partnering with a market leader. So that gives us the confidence in knowing that what we deliver today, we'll be able to continue to deliver going down the road because eGain will continue to be there to help support us. With eGain, we also have profiling. So we can make sure that we have content that we're serving up to the right people that is meaningful and relevant to them, right? It helps manage our security. It helps manage the content that people can get to. And on the eGain side of life, right, they've been around doing this for a long time. Partnership and innovation with eGain means that it's not just about what they were able to deliver 3 years ago for us. It's also about what they've got coming down in the future that we may not even understand that we need yet. In a given year, we take about 800,000 post-sales warranty service phone calls at our call centers. And what that means is that when I get on the phone today, we might talk about something from 1975. When I hang up that phone, we're going to talk about, and pick up the next call, we're going to talk about something from 2005. And it can vary across the entire product portfolio. And that's where being able to access that knowledge quickly and efficiently is so critical to us. Because we are in the millwork industry, there's a reality that our business is cyclical. So that gives us the ability also to flex our workforce. And part of the reason we're able to flex to that degree is because the knowledge is centralized, it's accessible, and it's meaningful and relevant when it's at time. I think most of us would agree that when I call in and talk to someone, I want to feel like I'm talking to an expert, not the person who's been there for 3 months. When we look at it from the web self-service side of life, right, that content needs to be accessible 24/7. Anytime that I'm having an issue, whether or not the call center is open. But not only do I need to be able to get to that content needs to be digestible. I need to be able to take it in and understand what does it mean to me? How do I take action where I need to take action? And how do I do things right the first time? So I have a little formula here that I like to talk about, where time and knowledge both impact the customer experience. And that's true in a lot of organizations, and to a degree it's still true at Andersen Windows. So 3 times T. T can represent time, it can represent tenure, any concept that you want to put in there. And the reality is when your knowledge is fragmented, it's spread out across all of these different areas, and you have these local, regionalized experts that have to kind of coach and mentor up your people. Tenure has a huge impact on your customer experience. And so with eGain and serving up that knowledge, we're trying to figure out how to remove time from that equation. So knowledge management, it is all about making knowledge accessible to the team. And so the way that we approach that inside of the Andersen Windows organization is we actually have a team that sits back at the main central office that works underneath of me. And we have a group of guided help authors, QA, and a team specialist. So how are we crafting the user experience? Well, first and foremost, we're attempting to clear away the fog. And that in itself is a journey. We've been working really hard over the past quarter to image and revitalize out parts of our consumer web self-service, right? Content should be inviting, and clearing away the clutter is a way of doing that. And through that, the hope is that when you land at knowledge, it actually is the right bit of knowledge and not content that you accidentally got to, and then you're not sure about why you're there. And then that content should inspire confidence. You go through a process. We want to talk about how this is what your issue is. This is what your resolution is going to be. But your path to navigation to that knowledge can be equally as important as the destination itself. Because when you feel like you answered a couple questions that were appropriate, timely, and meaningful, where you land gives you confidence of saying, this is where I belong, and I'm ready to move forward. So what does that mean for us? What gains do we get out of using a knowledge platform, right? Well, we know that we get call deflection out of that. We also know that we're getting improved caller experiences. We also can go back and use the service to help the customer later on. What that also means is that we can refer people out of the knowledge base right over to our online parts store. 20,000 of them year to date have left the help center and gone over to our online parts store. We really believe that that gives us a much better experience overall. It also gives us the ability to have uniform answers. So uniform answers in the form of web self-service and in the call centers. The other thing that this lets us do, right, is, as I said, we have lots of people who call into the call centers, and we take them into self-service to help them see how it is that they can fix and do things on their own. But what we can also do is we can email directly out of the help center on the agent side and send it right to anyone's email and say, hey, when you get to part and pieces, here's a link back to the articles that you may find useful for the installation. And instead of it being static content that we're sending out the door that can get outdated, stored away, or whatever, it's always pointing them back to the help center. So when they go back to it, whether it's 3 years, 3 weeks, or 3 days, that content is always current, always meaningful, and as relevant as we can make it. This allows us really to work on the 3 times T is not equal to customer experience, right? And again, we get that through the agent confidence and in reduced training time. Because if you have confidence as an individual contributor that the knowledge is there waiting for you, you just have to be able to access it, then you don't have 2 months of product training. You don't have 2 months of downtime waiting to get a group of seasonal workers up to speed. It's now in the form of days and weeks. 2 weeks, right? It's not that it's training free, because it's not, but it is training reduced and confidence inspiring. On our storm door side, we came to eGain with a business case. We said, we have been producing storm doors for over 20 years. And one of the great things about every one of these storm doors is when they left the factory, they had a label on them. And that label had a unique serial number to it. And that tells us everything we need to know about this storm door. So we approached eGain and said, if we can identify the door, can you help us get them down to the knowledge quickly and effectively, right? And it wasn't an overnight solution. It was a partnership between the two of us to figure out how were we going to do this. And so from the point that you hit the Andersen website, it's 1 click to say you need help, 1 click after you put in a serial number. There is no click 3 until you've decided which of these articles are most likely relevant to you. So 3 clicks and you're likely to be where you need to be from a resolution and solution point of view. And so it is not a linear path. It is a constant, ever-going journey to make sure that that information is there and is relevant and is easy to use. Thank you all for spending a little time listening to us at Andersen Windows and how we use eGain and the partnerships that we have with them. Appreciate the opportunity to be up here.